One quiet afternoon, at the edge of the woods by the Sawani River, a young fawn was lost. It wandered around, searching for its mother, its legs trembling, eyes filled with worry. A faint call echoed softly in the gentle breeze over the water. Suddenly, it stumbled into the rushing river. The cold, muddy water quickly swept it away from the shore. It struggled, its small legs unable to fight the swirling current, its eyes wide open, mouth crying out for help, a desperate sound carried by the wind and waves. It was swallowed by the water but then floated back up, as if all hope was fading. There was no sign of its mother, only the threatening waves all around. Panic made it kick hard in the murky water, which squeezed its tiny body tightly, its belly filled with water, ears trembling with cold and fear. It fought for each breath, choking amid overwhelming terror. Nearly exhausted, it tried to call for help one last time, almost unconsciously. A large wave swept it around, spinning its body near a tree branch. But no one was there. The little deer seemed about to sink. On Riverside Road, Lucas Bennett was driving his convertible with his dog, Bear. Lucas heard a faint cry carried over the rushing water. He stopped the car abruptly, frowning as he scanned the area, trying to find the source of the sound. Bear lifted his head, ears alert, growling softly, as if sensing something was wrong. Lucas ran toward the riverbank, where the water swirled murkily. He called out loudly, "Is anyone there?" But only the sound of rushing water answered. Suddenly, Bear barked sharply and dashed forward without hesitation. Lucas saw a small creature floating midstream. "Oh my God, it's a little deer," he shouted, heart pounding with worry. He had no time to think, his eyes fixed on the struggling animal. Bear jumped into the murky water immediately, swimming fast toward the deer, water splashing on both sides. His eyes focused and determined. The fawn struggled desperately, unaware help was near. Bear moved closer, stretching his neck to gently grasp the deer's neck. The deer flinched, its legs pulling in, thinking it was under attack, but soon felt safe. No claws, no teeth. Bear turned upstream, swimming steadily and confidently. He kept the deer's head above water, preventing it from choking. Lucas waited at the bank, kneeling, ready to catch them. When Bear reached safety, Lucas quickly took the deer from his mouth and gently laid it on the ikai, wet ground. The deer trembled, water dripping from its ears and neck. Lucas took off his coat and wrapped it warmly around the small body. Bear stood nearby, panting, tongue out, but eyes still on the deer. "It's okay, baby. We got here just in time," Lucas whispered softly. He picked up the fawn and placed it in the back seat of his blue convertible. Taking a towel from the trunk, he dried the little body carefully, part by part. Bear sat in the front seat, turning to watch closely, as if checking on his new friend's condition. The deer began to calm down, breathing more evenly as it warmed up. Lucas started the engine and drove home with a clear purpose. Lucas's small wooden house sat in a grassy hill near the forest. He spread a warm towel in the living room, next to the fireplace, for the deer to rest on. Bear lay close by, eyes never leaving the fawn, protecting it silently. Lucas fed the fawn warm milk from a bottle, gently rubbing its forehead. The fawn looked up at him, with eyes slowly softening, growing more trusting with each touch. The next day, it stood up and took a few steps in the backyard. Lucas named it Dotty, for the cute white spots on its back. Dotty began following Bear around the yard, curious about everything. Bear patiently taught Dotty how to smell, dig, and listen to birds. Every morning, Lucas took them for walks in the nearby park. Townspeople smiled as they saw Bear and Dotty running through the grass. Sometimes Dotty curled up in Lucas's arms when the afternoons turned chilly. The three became an unusual but perfect family. Bear no longer growled or looked anxious. He always stayed close to Dotty, like a protective brother. Lucas knew this was real, but also knew the day of parting would come. After 2 weeks, Lucas decided it was time to help Dotty find her mother. He studied a map of the Sawani River, marking places where the mother deer might be. One sunny morning, Lucas put Dotty and Bear in the car and drove to the old river. Dotty was quiet, her ears moving constantly, as if listening for something familiar. When they arrived at the riverbank, Lucas turned off the engine and opened the door for Dotty to step out. Bear ran around sniffing, while Lucas searched the forest for signs. Suddenly, from a distance, a large deer stood still at the forest's edge. It did not run away. A female deer with wide eyes, full of hope and anticipation. Dotty froze for a moment, then stretched and ran toward her. Lucas held his breath, while Bear sat quietly, watching every step. Dotty reached the mother, paused briefly, then pressed her head against her mother's body. The mother deer gently licked Dotty's head, shivering slightly as if to confirm their bond. Lucas watched the reunion, tears in his eyes, heart swelling with happiness. Bear barked softly, as if saying goodbye. Lucas sighed, smiled, and nodded. "We did the right thing, Bear." Dotty turned, looking back at Lucas and Bear one last time, her eyes full of gratitude and longing. Lucas waved goodbye, saying, "Go live like a true wild deer." The mother deer led Dotty into the woods, their figures slowly fading behind thick trees. Lucas and Bear returned to the car, the sunlight shining on the peaceful river. A new chapter had ended, filled with kindness, hope, and a friendship beyond borders. Dear friend, thank you for taking time to follow this story. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel to support us.